Let's see the next topic in journal science, that is digestive juices and enzyme. Student, this topic is part of digestive system, but since it is very important for exam point of view, we have made a separate session on this topic. Okay, so in this topic, these are the important topics or the important types of questions which are generally asked in the exam. Okay, the first one is a component of digestive juices. The second one is which gland secretes which enzyme. This is very important. Okay, I am marking it as very important. The next one is the role of enzyme in conversion. You know that there are various nutrients like carbohydrate, protein and fats. So you need to know which enzyme converts these component into what. Okay, so that is also one important topic which is generally asked in the exam. So the first question, enzymes are basically what? Fats, sugar, protein and vitamins. A very simple one but very important one. So those who have given option C, proteins, they are right. Protein enzymes are basically protein, made up of protein. And we have read about enzyme in our theory class where we discuss that enzyme are basically the biological catalyst that speed up the chemical reaction in the body. And these are protein basically, and these are secreted by glands. Okay, so you should know the name of the glands, okay, and the name of the enzymes. Okay, and this table is very important for this chapter. Okay, so you have to take a screenshot and read all the enzymes, all the glands and all their conversions. And more specifically in this table, this protein is very important, which is commonly asked in the exam. Okay, let's see the next question. Which of the following statement about enzymes is or are correct? They are biocatalyst. Yes, this is true. They perform their action on the site where they are produced. Yes, this is also true. So both are true. So your answer should be option C. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay. Yes, a very simple one. The next question. Which one of the following is not a digestive enzyme in human system? Okay. Option A, trypsin. Option B, gastrin. Option C, ptyalin. Option D, pepsin. Okay, so you know that trypsin is one of the enzyme which is found in the pancreatic juice. Okay, I will write it. It is found in the pancreatic juice. And gastrin, there is no enzyme named gastrin. It is gastric juice which is found in the stomach. Okay, so option B is the right answer. This is not an enzyme. Okay, so the next one is ptyalin. Ptyalin, as you know, it is found on the salivary gland, saliva. Okay, and it is also known as amylase. Okay, and what about pepsin? Pepsin is found on the gastric juice. Okay, you should know the name of the enzyme. So this question, gastrin is not a digestive enzyme. Let's see the next question. Enzyme ptyalin is found in what? Just now I answered this question. It is saliva, and this ptyalin is also known as salivary amylase. Okay, amylase. Okay, salivary amylase, and it basically convert the starch, that is carbohydrate, into maltose. Okay, let's see the next question. Oh, so we have already seen this table. Yes, so the question says, in the human digestive system, which of the following enzyme convert protein into protein proteases and peptones. Okay, so let's see one by one. So pepsin, yes, pepsin convert protein into proteases and peptone. So option A is correct. It is found on the gastric juice. Okay, gastric juice, pepsin is found on the gastric juice, which convert protein into peptone. So you can say that the digestion of protein begins in the stomach. Okay, what about lipase? Lipase is basically found on the pancreatic juice. Okay, pancreatic juice, and it converts fats into glycerol. Okay, fat into fatty acid or the glycerol. Okay, and as you know, maltase and amylase, they convert maltose into glucose, the final one. Okay, so the glucose is the final energy component. Okay, so the answer for this question is option A, pepsin convert protein into peptones. Let's see the next question. Which one of the enzyme is secreted by pancreas? Okay, let's see one by one. Maltase, maltase is basically intestinal juice. Okay, so it is basically released by the intestine or the succus entericus. Okay, next one is the lactase. Lactase is again secreted by intestine. The next one is trypsin. Trypsin is the enzyme which is secreted by the pancreas. What about sucrose? Again, sucrose is the part of intestinal juice, so released by the intestine. So option C, those who have given, they are right. And again, this slide we have seen in our theory class where we discuss everything about juices. So I'm revising once again. So the first juice is saliva. It is secreted by the salivary gland, which is in the mouth. So here salivary gland is present. So you can see this sublingual gland and salivary gland. Okay, so the main enzyme is ptyalin or salivary amylase, which converts starch into maltose. So digestion of carbohydrate begin in the mouth itself. The next juice is gastric juice. It is secreted by the stomach wall. So you come here, so gastric juice is present, which basically has two enzymes, pepsin, renin, and renin is generally found on the infants. So okay, so this is one important point. Okay, and pepsin is another important enzyme which is commonly asked in the exam, which convert protein into peptones. And this gastric juice also contain acid called hydrochloric acid. Okay, so this juice is basically acidic in nature. Okay, bile juice, basically it does not have any enzyme, but it is secreted by the liver and stored in the gallbladder. Okay, so this pointer we have seen many times in the exam. Okay, so bile juice is basically secreted by the liver and stored in the gallbladder. Okay, so this is your liver is secreting this bile juice and it is stored in the gallbladder. What does it does? Bile juice basically emulsify fat. You know the word emulsify means which breaks the large fat globules into the smaller one so that digestion can happen. Okay, so the important one is bile juice, which help in the emulsification of fat and secreted by liver and stored in the gallbladder. Okay, the next one is a pancreatic juice. So you can see this is a gallbladder and this is the pancreas. Okay, so this is secreted by the pancreas and acts in the duodenum. Duodenum is this place. This is an intestinal place, but it is secreted by the pancreas, right? So three enzymes are basically found in this pancreatic juice: trypsin, lipase, and pancreatic amylase. Okay, so one enzyme for conversion of protein is pepsin that we have seen in gastric juice. The other one is trypsin, which convert protein into peptides. Then lipase, which convert fat into fatty acid. Then pancreatic amylase, starch to maltose. Okay, and the final important juice is the intestinal juice, which is secreted by the intestinal gland and acts here in the duodenum. Okay, so three important enzyme: maltase, sucrase, lactase, and sometime peptidase is also there, which convert peptides into amino acids. Okay, so such pointers we have seen in our theory class. So let's see the next question. The enzyme responsible for final conversion of protein into amino acid, complex carbohydrate into glucose, and fatty into fatty acid and glycerol is present in what? A very important question. I am marking it is very important. He is saying that final conversion. Okay, so you know that the last step in the digestion process is in the intestine. Okay, small intestine more specifically. So the final conversion will happen in the small intestine, and it is the intestinal juice which is going to convert the final conversion: protein into amino acid, carbohydrate into glucose, fat into fatty acid and glycerol. Okay, so option B is the right answer. Let's see the next question. The fat digestive enzyme lipase is secreted by which of the following? Okay, fat digestive enzyme lipase. Okay, kidney, pancreas, large intestine and liver. Just now in the table we have seen it is pancreas. Pancreas secretes majorly three enzymes. First one is the trypsin, which convert protein into peptides. Second one is lipase for fat into fatty acid to glycerol, right? Okay, so let's see the next question. This is the last question for today's session. The assertion: human body is incapable of digesting cellulose. Yeah, it is true. Only animals can digest cellulose. Cellulose is one of the component which is present in the plants leaves basically. Okay, so cellulose, like we have carbohydrate, so it is a type of carbohydrate, but it is found on the plant's leaves. Okay, so human body is not incapable of digesting cellulose. Okay, the reason is that starch digestive enzyme diastase is found in human body. It is basically reverse. This starch digesting enzyme diastase is not found in the human body. If it is found, we can be able to digest cellulose, but since this enzyme is not present, so we cannot digest. So this is reason is false, assertion is true. So both A and R are true, but R is not correct explanation of A. Okay, basically it is A is true, R is false, and it is not the reason. Basically he is asking the reason that it is not found in the human body. So option C should be correct. The answer he is saying it is B, but it should be C. I mean correcting it. Okay, so it is a C. A is true and reason is false. Okay.